What began as an experiment to bring my 11-year-old daughter into my business has evolved into Our Young Creators, a podcast, a training center, and a movement dedicated to equipping kids with real-world marketable skills so that they can fund their own brighter futures. We're here to inspire you to turn consumption time on devices into creation time and use technology as a tool to bond and not bicker with your kids. Join us each week as we share the inner workings of our partnership and bring you stories from guests of all ages and from all walks of life on our quest to nurture and to celebrate our young creators. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to episode 198 of Our Young Creators. I'm your host, Yang Pratt, and I'm so glad you are tuning in today because this is an interesting episode to share because it really had me reflect back on this past year and sort of what we've gone through and the challenges we've encountered and the highs and lows that we've had throughout this year in the process of pivoting from my 17-year performing arts brick and mortar business into this online space. So I want to know, when you look back at 2018, what words or phrases come to mind? Crushing it? I played it safe? Amazing? Terrible? I know that every day for 365 days, the words and phrases that come up for us can change literally in an instant. We all have highs. We all have lows. It's what we do with those experiences, of course, that can impact us the very most. When we pivoted into Our Young Creators on January 1 of 2018, I wasn't exactly sure what would happen. Up until that point, I spent 17 years building a brick and mortar performing arts school, and I was really hesitant to step away or shift focus from something that I had spent so long building. I kept asking myself, was I about to step away from my own acres of diamond, just feet from the riches that Russell Conwell spoke about in his book, Acres of Diamonds? Were the continual challenges I was encountering, like being harassed by the local fire department and threatened with fines and jail time by my local police department for wanting to continue to serve the kids in my community, were these challenges beckoning me to take that road less traveled? My growing sense of knowing I was meant for more was in part the reason I declared the word impact as my word of the year for 2018. My girls and I wanted to help other families, especially other entrepreneurs with families, learn how they too could learn to work side by side with their kiddos in their businesses, just like we were doing. I wasn't exactly sure what we'd be teaching. I just knew the why. We wanted to equip kids with real-world skills so they could create and fund their own brighter futures. We wanted to give kids the opportunity to know that they too could do more with their lives than striving for that 9-to-5 job. It turns out that the what was in front of me the whole time, and it took a mentor, thanks Renee Rebar, to help me see that the what was already there. That what turned out to be podcasting. I'll be the first to admit that I was extremely hesitant to jump into and teach in this podcasting space because there were, and there still are, really huge names in the industry that really dominate the market. What I discovered, though, is that outside the podcastosphere, no one knew who these big names were. And our approach to podcasting was different. We strive for simple. We strive for speed. And the idea of making it a family affair really set us apart from the other names in podcasting. So the girls and I leaned in and started teaching what we know about podcasting and working together via live videos turned podcast episodes. And this, my friends, was a strategy we dove headfirst into in 2018. And when we did that, a really interesting thing happened. Entrepreneurs, many with no kids or kids that were grown, kept reaching out and telling me that even though they weren't my target market, they still wanted to learn what we were teaching, and they wanted to become podcasters. Many of them had dreamed of having a podcast for years, yet hadn't done it because it was such an overwhelming prospect. They also told me they didn't have the 8 weeks, which was the time frame that we put together for our Becoming a Podcasting Family course that we launched earlier in the year. They didn't have 8 weeks to get the podcast done because they already had so much on their plates. They wanted something much faster. With a little help and some pushing from my friends Ann Colin and Kim White, Podcast in a Weekend was born in September of this year. In that first round of the class, we graduated 8 new podcasters, and we're currently in round number 4 of the class already. While we've been able to impact thousands of lives through our podcast, live videos, and even more through the ripple effect of our Podcast in a Weekend graduates and the people that they touch with their messages, the one constant throughout this year has been discovery. Here's a list of some of the things that we discovered in 2018. Our what here at OYC appeals to multiple demographics. I've learned that I have this growing love of doing live video. I've discovered that speaking and educating globally is most definitely my calling. I learned that the magic of collaborations is going to help me scale our business big time in 2019. I've discovered that being surrounded by biz besties is crucial for success in life and business. I discovered that I didn't lose who I was when I pivoted into this online space, which was definitely a fear. I became more of me every single day, and I continue to be more me with each day that passes. I discovered that leaning into my fears and doing hard things has helped me to become a better version of myself. I've discovered that vulnerability in marketing is not a tactic. It's a way of building real relationships. I've discovered that no matter what, family comes first, and the goal of our business in 2019 is to support the growth of family relationships via travel, in-person experiences, and serving others. Now that you've learned what I've discovered in 2018 and how it was truly a year of discovering so many things about myself and what we could do here, I want to hear from you. What did you discover about yourself or your business in 2018? How will you use those discoveries to make 2019 extraordinary? I want you to head over to Instagram and tag me at Our Young Creators and let me know what you discovered in 2018 and how it's going to help you with what you're creating in 2019. And now I want to remind you that you can go grab our 50 Winter Boredom Busters list of activities that are absolutely kid approved over on our website at ouryoungcreators.com/winter. Tomorrow on the podcast, I'm going to reveal to you our top 10 podcasts of 2018. Until then, my friends, I wish you an amazing day. Cheers.